Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom using one of these nifty little Clover pom-pom makers. I do happen to prefer the Clover brand. I know there's other brands that make them, I'm sure, but I just always find that Clover tools, they're made well with good quality materials. They don't like age and get brittle like some plastics do. Working parts like how this has to come apart and go back together, they actually stay when I take them apart and put them back together. You know, it just works well. I like them, they work well, so, you know, it's a brand I trust. Alright, so to make a pom-pom with these pom-pom makers, you are going to do some wrapping. I'm going to wrap 50 times, okay? And I'm not going to be able to talk and wrap at the same time because I'll lose track of my counting. But in this case, I am using a DK yarn. This is a Paint Box DK from Lovecrafts, and I'm going to wrap 50 times for this super small pom-pom maker. The larger the pom-pom maker, the more times you're going to have to wrap on each half, and the thinner the yarn, the more times you're going to have to wrap on each half. You're just going to have to experiment. If your pom-pom ends up really, really tightly packed together and you think it's too dense, wrap less. If it's not dense enough, if it's really loose and floppy, wrap more. Whatever floats your boat, dude. All right, so like I said, 50 times each half. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. You want to end at the this end, okay? Not towards the center, but at this end, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, I'm going to actually pull it kind of up. It doesn't really matter which part, if it's coming off on this side or that side, really, when it comes down to it. The reason why is now that I fold this wrapped part over, you can see my end is close to the next wrap part. It's all good. So, all right. So 50 again. 1, 2, 3, 29, 30. You'll notice that I'm kind of going back and forth and back and forth. I'm doing that so that everything gets wrapped evenly. It will help with a nicer looking pom-pom. It won't have areas with lots of stuff and areas with not so much stuff, and it won't need to be trimmed as much at the end. So that's why I'm kind of trying to go back and forth and wrap things evenly. 49, 50. Okay, so now close it. And now what you're going to do is cut through the channels. I try to remember to cut from the part that has the hinge facing up, so that I'm actually pushing it closed, not so much as pushing it open. It doesn't really matter. It's just, you know, one of those little Jessie-isms, I guess. Okay, so I cut all the way through. Give it a little look. Make sure there aren't any little strands that you missed. And then turn and cut all the way through again. And that's another thing I love about these pom-pom makers, is they have that nice little channel for you to slip your scissors in. You are going to need a pair of nice sharp needles, but those, like, you know, nice sharp scissors, you know those. So now I have that, right? And I'm going to need to tie this together, because if we stop here, we just have a whole bunch of like 1-inch long pieces of yarn. Okay, so just cut yourself a long strand of yarn, and I'm just going to pull this piece out because it's going to get in my way and annoy me. So you have your long strand of yarn, and now you're going to put it through this channel. Okay, so I'm going to take about the center of it and put it into that channel, and then I'm going to tie a square knot. So right over left, and then under and through. Pull it tight as you can, and then left over right, under and through. Pull it really, really tight again. Okay, and then I'm going to just flip this over, whoop, and tie another square knot. So it's actually wrapping again around the center in case my first square knot wasn't tight enough, and just because I'm paranoid. So again, right over left. I'm sure you're fine with just the first one, but you know, another Jessie-ism, I guess. Left over right. So there's my second square knot. Pull right off. And so these are the ends you want to use to tie things on with not any of these, or you can sew through the center of the pom-pom with something, but I just find leaving these ends long and using them to attach your pom-pom is really the easiest way to go. Now, to take your pom-pom out of here, you want to first make sure that you open it up. So open up those, and then open up these. Don't stress about that. And then you're going to pull it apart. So make sure you're not pulling on any of these little pieces of yarn. You just kind of grab the middle, and I just kind of gently twist and it pulls apart. And then I grab my ends, and look, you can see the little metal piece there. And that's what you tied everything around. I can take my little ends and go boop, pull it off. And then you give it a really good shake, woo! And that kind of gets everything all nice and fluffy. And you can look at it and you can see if you have any ends that need a trim. And there's not usually that many on the small one. So this is the extra small pom-pom maker. There's not usually that many ends that need a trim, but the larger the pom-pom, the more you'll find that some certain areas will need more of a trim. But there you go. I mean, that's a really nice little pom-pom, right?